Okay, let's jump right in. If you're managing a large campus, a university, a hospital, a big corporate park, you know that campus-wide graphics can be a massive, massive headache. So today, we're going to flip that script. We're going to show you how to turn that challenge into a real strategic asset by breaking down the expert's playbook for getting it right every single time. So let's start with the question that probably hits a little too close to home. Why? Why do so many of these big, ambitious branding projects end up looking like, well, like that? With peeling vinyl and budgets that are just completely blown out of the water. I bet this slide looks pretty familiar. These are the classic signs of a graphics project that's gone off the rails. First, you get those adhesive failures, right? The vinyl starts peeling up at the edges, especially in those busy hallways. Then the surprise costs start rolling in, and that initial quote, it's a distant memory. You end up shutting down entire wings, which means disrupting classes or patient care. And for what? For branding that looks different in every building and wayfinding that just makes people more lost. It's a really frustrating cycle.
And here's the thing. Here's the real reason. These projects don't fail when the graphics are being installed. Nope. They fail way before that. They fail because they're missing the single most important step, a real strategic plan.
But here's the good news. There's absolutely a better way. There's a proven method to avoid all these problems. So let's open up the expert's playbook and see how you can build a campus graphics program that's actually durable, cost-effective, and, looks amazing. The whole foundation of this strategy really comes down to one powerful document. We're not just talking about picking colors and logos here. We're talking about going way beyond the surface and building a truly strategic graphics checklist. And listen, this isn't just another to-do list. You should think of this Campus Graphics Procurement Checklist as more of a governance tool. It's the one document that gets all your teams, facilities, procurement, design, all on the same page, speaking the same language. You're aligning the scope, the quality standards, the timelines, all of it before a single dollar gets spent. So what goes into a checklist like this? Look at the depth here. This is the real deal. You're doing a full audit of every single wall surface. You're defining exactly how durable a graphic needs to be, because a busy ER hallway is way different than a quiet office, right? You're mapping out your wayfinding, you're planning the installation to cause the least disruption possible, and, this is crucial, you're analyzing the total cost over the graphic's entire lifespan. And that idea brings us to probably the biggest mental shift in this whole playbook. We have to stop thinking about the upfront price tag. It's time to start thinking about long-term value. We've got to move from price per square foot to cost per year. This quote right here really says it all. The cheapest option today can so easily become your most expensive problem tomorrow. Looking at the total cost of ownership, that's the only way to make a genuinely smart financial decision for your campus. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at the left column. That's all the hidden costs of traditional vinyl. You've got complex wall prep, those seams and edges that are always failing and needing repairs. And removal? Oh, it's a nightmare of scraping and patching. Now compare that to direct-to-wall printing. It works on your standard painted walls. There are no seams to fail. Installation is super fast. And when you need an update, you just paint over it. The savings on labor, materials, and especially downtime are just enormous. And speaking of speed, let's talk about this number. For a pretty typical hallway or zone, a direct-to-wall installation can be done in under 5 hours. Think about what that means. A project that used to shut you down for a whole weekend can now be done in a single work shift. That is a game changer for campus operations. So you've got the right strategy, you've picked the right technology. Now it all comes down to execution. And that brings us to our third big idea, creating a smarter, faster installation process that works with your campus, not against it. The secret here is that things like safety, compliance, and logistics, they aren't the last thing you think about. They have to be baked into the plan right from the very beginning. That's how you avoid those nasty surprises and make sure the final result isn't just beautiful, but also 100% safe and compliant. This breaks it down into 4 steps that are, well, pretty much non-negotiable. You've got to verify the fire and smoke rating for the whole wall. You have to make sure the graphics meet accessibility standards for glare and contrast. For the health of everyone on campus, you have to demand low VOC materials. And in any high-traffic area, that surface has to be tough enough to handle hospital-grade cleaning. Okay, so when you put all of these pieces together, the strategic checklist, the total cost mindset, and a focus on compliant installation, what you get is something incredibly valuable. You're not just hanging up some graphics anymore, you're actually building a future-proof campus. So what's the big payoff at the end of the day? It's huge. You get this beautiful, durable, seamless finish that holds up for years. Maintenance becomes incredibly simple for your custodial teams. When it's time to make a change, a new department moves in, you have a new brand campaign, it's a fast, super low-cost update. You end up saving money, creating less waste, and you finally get that consistent, high-end look you've wanted across the entire campus. And that's what it all boils down to. When you take this strategic approach to procurement, you completely change the game. Your campus visuals stop being this recurring problem that just eats up your budget. They become a durable, manageable asset that truly adds value to your institution. So, I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Take a hard look at your own campus. Is your visual strategy just a temporary fix that's built to last maybe a year or two? Or are you building a visual strategy that's actually designed for the next decade? The difference? Well, it's all in the plan.